إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استووا استووا يعتدلوا State in the line. Please switch off your mobile phone. الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. তো বাদে ইংলিশে আপনার জাকাত সম্পর্কে বয়ান হইব, স্পেশালি I would like to request our young brother, can you stay some minute and our Sheikh will deliver a speech about Zakat, inshallah. From 10 pound must be done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah. Zakat একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট রমজান শরীফের শেষ টাইম আপনার আজকে জাকাত সম্পর্কে বয়ান হইব আপনারা সব বইবা ইনশাআল্লাহ জাকাতটা মেহেরবানি করিয়া যে ভাই হল আদায় হল হরফুলি আপনার 1 মিনিট আলোচনা করিয়া শেষ সালাম ফিরাইতে সময় অনেক ভাই হলে দেখা যায় ইমাম সাহেবের আগে সালাম ইমাম সাহেব তো কইবা আসসালামু আলাইকুম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহ নাম আলিফ আলিফ লং করবা নে দুশে ফিরাইলি না থানোর আগে যাইতা কেয়ারফুল থাকতা ইমাম সাহেবের ফিসে থাকতা সবসময় ইমাম সাহেবের ফিসে থাকতা সালাম ফিরাই রাইট সাইড লেফট সাইড সালাম ফিরাইতে আপনারা আস্তে আস্তে ফিরাই যদি তাই ফিরাইয়ালেও ফিরাই না আপনার সালাম ফিরানি কোনো অসুবিধা আর যদি আগে ফিরাইলাইন এ হইল চিনি এই জিনিসটা খেয়াল রাখবা রুকুত যাইতে সময় ইমাম সাহেব গিয়ারলে যাইবা যে সময়ও যাইবা ওই জিনিসটা খেয়াল একটু খেয়ালের অভাব এটা দোষ নাই আপনার খেয়ালের অভাব ইনশাআল্লাহ আল্লাহ আমরা সবাই তৌফিক দান করুন আল্লাহুম্মা আমিন اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك ربنا تقبل منا وجمعتنا وركوعنا وسجودنا وصيامنا وصدقتنا كما تقبلت من عبادك الصالحين اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عني اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عني اللهم مغفرتك أوسع من ذنوبي ورحمتك أرجى عندي من عملي اللهم حاسبني حسابا يسيرا اللهم حاسبني حسابا يسيرا وسلام على المرسلين والحمد
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, in the next 40 minutes 45 minutes max, I'll be covering A to Z of Zakat. I'm very confident that there will be something that you will have heard today and you have not heard before. I'm very confident, inshallah. Otherwise, mashallah, may Allah bless you and guide you, inshallah. So there are booklets, guys, inshallah, the brother will go around. We can follow it. Normally I have slides, but obviously that's not possible all the time. So I would urge you to join. If you're joining, come forward, inshallah. Zakah, as we know, is one of the pillars of Islam. Bunya al-Islamu ala khams, shahadati an la ilaha illallah. That Islam is based on 5 pillars, 5 foundations. At-Tawheed, the Shahada, As-Salah, Al-Zakah, As-Sawm, and Al-Hajj. And we are in the month of As-Sawm, month of Ramadan. And many people, they pay their zakah in the month of Ramadan. Now, we will inshallah learn, if you haven't already, whether that is correct or not correct. right? That's correct or not correct, right? But before I want to ask you two questions, or maybe three questions. And I want everyone, inshallah, to try and participate. Yeah, you don't have to shout, just raise your hands, inshallah. Number one, who knows the birth date? Raise your hands. Zonmondin, Zanonto, inshallah. Zonmondin. Everyone knows. Only I can see a few people raising their hands, right? But I'm sure everyone knows. Okay, that's good, right? Who's married here? Raise your hands. Okay. Okay, mashallah. Okay, most people. And those who are not married, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you to get married, inshallah. Right? Okay. If you're married, do you remember your wedding anniversary date? Meaning the day that you got married. Okay. Okay. Your wives are not here. You can tell the truth. Right? Sisters know. Oh, they've been streamed. Okay. Okay. Sisters, wives, they normally remember this. Brothers, you know, to be honest, I don't remember exactly the exact date, right? Okay. We know our birth date, right? We don't know our death date. We know our wedding anniversary. Who knows the Zakat date? Raise your hands. Okay. You know, okay, one person, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. Okay, out of however many people, only 6 people raise their hand. Again, please, I'm not trying to put anyone down or anything like that. It's important for us to, the first path of seeking knowledge is showing humility, saying la adri, right? Half of knowledge is saying la adri, right? Saying I don't know. When we say I don't know, we are able to learn. Those who say I know, they don't never learn, right? So inshallah, by the end of today, Zakat workshop, you will know how to work out your Zakat date, because this is very, very important. A lot of people, they just choose Ramadan and pay Zakat. That's not accurate and that's not correct. Which Salah did we pray just behind the Imam? The Asr. Can we pray Maghrib now? Can we pray Isha now? No. Inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that Salah is prescribed, given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as appointed time, because it's an ibadah. Zakat is also an ibadah. Same way we pray Salah, which is an ibadah. Zakat is also an ibadah. And the ibadah has to be performed in its appropriate time. There are certain ibadat which are mahduda in terms of time and context. Can you do Hajj in London? No, you have to do Hajj in Baytullah al-Haram, in Mecca, right? We can't do Ramadan in Shawwal. We have to do Ramadan in Ramadan, right? So there are certain fara'id, those are certain ibadat that mahduda, restricted at certain time, certain context. There are certain ibadat which are unrestricted. We can do dhikr anytime. Yes, we can do dhikr anytime. We can recite the Quran anytime. So Zakat is an ibadah which is specific to your time, right? So everyone here has to have a Zakat date, because if you don't calculate and pay your Zakat on that date, you may be sinful. If you just randomly choose a date, say I'm going to give in Ramadan because Ramadan is better, that may not be the appropriate thing to do. That may not be the right thing to do. And it can become makruh, even haram, if you keep on delaying your Zakat anniversary day or giving your Zakat giving day, right? So inshallah, at the end, we will know how to work it out, right? You know, I don't need to go through the importance of Zakat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned in the Quran, whenever He mentions, you know, Iman and Salah, Zakat. Zakat and Salah is combined 33 times in the Quran. And those who believe and those who pray and those who establish their Zakat. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, there are numerous ahadith. The one who does not give zakah will come under their judgment, and a serpent will strangle that, you know, person and say, this is, you know, why, you know, essentially, why didn't you give zakah? Why didn't you pay your zakah? A people, a community, a nation that does not give zakah or pay zakah properly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down upon them trials and tribulations. Tufan, trials and tribulations. The ummah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, 2 billion Muslims. 2 billion. And it's growing every single day, every single year. Alhamdulillah. Right? But How many people understand the ibadah, understand the zakah, right? Zakah is a trickle-up economics, meaning that when you pay zakah to the local people, when you pay zakah to the poor and needy, wherever they are in the world, they will do what? They will go and buy from the shop. They will, go buy from the malls, shopping centers, and whatnot. The shop, they would have to hire employees. They would have to go and buy from the wholesalers. So he said, لكي لا يكون دولة بين الأغنياء منكم, right? Use zakah, give zakah, so the wealth does not become the monopoly of the rich, only the few. You see, in this society, in our world, we have an economic system which is trickle-down economics. Since the 1960s, 70s, subsequent government, they implemented trickle-down economic, meaning that if you give tax kind of break to the big corporations and the multimillionaires and billionaires, their understanding is that they will spend and the economy of the society will grow. Well, 30, 40 years of that has not worked because the rich, unfortunately, the rich, mega rich, right? They get rich because they hoard up wealth. They don't spend, and the money or the wealth is not, infiltrating the community, the society. Whereas if you go, zakah is trickle-up economics, meaning if 100 of us here, if we pay £1,000 of zakah, as an example, in the local community and find people who are poor and the needy, we have empowered 1,000 people, and they will go and shop. They will go pay the rent. They will go spend in the different, and this will, hopefully grow the economy. Will circulate the funds within the economy. Because that's why zakah, right? You pay zakah. The word zakah in the Arabic language means either to grow. The farmers, they say zakah az-zara, that when they planted the crops grew, and they use the word zakah, right? Or zakah means to purify. So when we give zakah, ma naqasa min malin sadaqa. When we give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does not decrease our wealth, increases our wealth. And this is the promise from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as-sadiq al-masduq. And also we purify our wealth. That 2.5% does not belong to us. Typically 2.5% does not belong to us. Nothing belongs to us. Belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are properties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah says, I'll give you this life, I'll give you money, I'll give you job, I'll give you health, I'll give you children, I'll give you property, I'll give you zameen, I'll give you land, I'll give you all of that. What do? You have to worship me. And one of the things that we have to do is give typically 2.5% of our wealth. Well, that wealth, Allah is saying, does not belong to you. Nothing belongs to you, but I'm giving you. I'm saying, I'm going to give you 100%, but 2.5% you give to the poor and the needy. So that 2.5% belongs to, not us, belongs to the poor and the needy. That's their haqq. Because salah, for example, salah is what? Salah is haqqullah. Salah is haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why some of the scholars disagreed. If people miss salah for 2 months or 5 years or 10, whatever, right? Some of the scholars, they say, you have to do qada of that salah you missed. You have to make up the salah. And obviously do repentance. Other scholars say, no, you don't have to make it up. You do sincere repentance. Because it's a haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whichever opinion, there are two valid opinions, right? Zakah is haqqullah and haqqul ibad. Zakah is a haqq of Allah, is a right of Allah that we have to fulfill. And also is a haqqul ibad, the right of the poor and the needy. So if you are not giving us zakah, the poor and the needy will come to us on the judgment. They will take from our hasanat. SubhanAllah. Literally, they will take from our hasanat. So this money does not belong to you. Allah gave me this money, but you did not return it back to me. This is the severity of not paying zakah. It's a debt. And we know, even narrations, we know some reports that even some of the shuhada will not enter paradise unless their debt is cleared. And it's a debt. Those who do not pay zakah, it's a debt. Debt to who? To Allah and to the poor and the needy. On the day of judgment, we will not be able to go forward until we our debt is covered. That's why, like brothers and sisters, take this very, very seriously. There's no barakah in our lives, as a Muslim community, no barakah in our society because of the way, the man, the Prophet said, the man or person who goes to Hajj and he cries to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah give me this, Allah forgive me. What did the Prophet say? This is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's crying, he's pleading, he's beseeching, imploring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's crying, how to Allah give me money, Allah give me health, Allah give me this, Allah give me that. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you know what he said? We all know this hadith, right? He's asking all this, وَمَلْبَسُهُ مِنْ حَرَامٍ وَمَأْكَلُهُ مِنْ حَرَامٍ فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُ. His eating is from haram earnings. His clothes, the clothes that he wears is from haram earnings. By lying and cheating and undercutting other people. فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُ. How will it be that Allah can respond to his prayers? Allah cannot respond to that person's prayer. Because it's very serious, brothers, right? Let's get our zakat right, individually and then collectively, inshallah, right? So before we do calculation, there are 3 easy steps you take when you calculate your zakat. And inshallah you'll come with that. But before that, there are certain terminologies that we have to learn. We have to know. Number 1 is al-hawl. Have you heard of this before? Al-hawl. The Prophet said, لا زكاة في المال حتى يحول عليه الحول. Now there are different opinion and there are some confusion among people, right? This is how you work out how your zakat anniversary zakat date, right? Take for example today. Today is what? 20 what of Ramadan? 24th of Ramadan. 24th of Ramadan, right? 23rd, sorry. Tonight is the 24th, sorry. 23rd, right? Today, the very first time, I don't have anything. I didn't have anything. I don't have no land, I have no zameen, I have nothing, right? I've been working for 1 month and I have got paid, £1,000. Got paid £1,000, right? Now, that £1,000 is definitely above the nisab. We'll come to learn what nisab is in a moment, right? That £1,000 is definitely above nisab. But today, 23rd of Ramadan, is the very first time in my whole entire life that I have some wealth, £1,000. Now today, I've got that. This is above the nisab. Do I pay zakat today? No. I wait one lunar year, not the Gregorian calendar, the Islamic calendar. Islamic calendar. I wait this time next year, I calculate my zakat again. And if my excess wealth is equal to above nisab, then I pay zakat on that date. And this is my zakat anniversary. This is my zakat day every year. That will not change. Does your birthday change? No. Does your wedding anniversary change? Could be. You work it out, right? But those things do not change. Right? Your zakat anniversary date does not change, will not change except in one situation, one context. If you become bankrupt, you become in nothing, then the whole cycle, how I explained, whole cycle you have to start again. And that the new date becomes your, but you only have generally one date, typically one day. And you have to calculate zakat on that day. You will inshallah know why it's so important to know your specific zakat date and calculate and pay your zakat date and not randomly pick and not calculate it over 3 days or 4 days or 1 week or a whole month of Ramadan. Because I cannot pray Salat or Asr over 2-3 days. I cannot give my zakat over. In advance I can give, but if my date has come and gone, I can't do that because that will be sinful or makruh in sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is how it is. Now there's a confusion among people. There are different opinions. Some scholars say, look, you have to have the money in possession for 1 year. Well, that's very difficult to do. And that's sort of authentic position in my opinion. The authentic position and the majority opinion is that your wealth can fluctuate up and down throughout the year. Doesn't matter. Your wealth can fluctuate. If today is my zakat day, yesterday, or last week I had zero money, nothing. But yesterday someone gave me, 10K. Now that 10K today in my zakat date, I have to calculate zakah. I've got some money. It doesn't matter what happened, not in the future or in the past. If you who's accountants here? Anyone accountant here? No one? Okay. In accounting terms, it's called balance sheet calculation. It's a balance sheet calculation. You don't look at fluctuation of wealth before. You only look at your zakat date, what you own, what you possess. Is that clear? Right? So this is how 1 year. So every year you do the same thing. Then you have nisab. Nisab is basically the minimum amount of wealth or zakah wealth you need to have in order to become liable to pay zakah. Right? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he measured it with gold and silver. Now, there are different opinions. Some scholars say go with the gold standard. Some scholars say go with the silver standard. Gold standard is 87.48 grams of gold or equivalent money terms. Today's, is about probably 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, right? And silver is 612.36 grams of silver, which is about 200 or approximately 300 pounds. So go with the silver measurement, right? If you want to go with the gold measurement, that's fine, right? I would encourage people to go with the silver measurement, right? It's anfa' lil fuqara. Some scholars mentioned that it's more beneficial to the poor and the needy, right? So go with the silver measurement. How do you know? Basically, it's 612.36 grams of silver. You go to the local jeweler. You go to the bullion website and see how much is per gram of silver, and you work out. So approximately it's about 300 pounds. So today, if my zakah day, I have to calculate everything, my zakah, my expenditure and whatnot. What is left over, if it's equal to or above 300 pounds, then I have to pay zakah. 2.5% of that. If it's below that, then I'm not zakah. I don't have to pay zakah. I'm not liable to pay zakah. That's how you work out if you're rich or not in Islam in one sense. If you're able to pay zakah, that means you're okay after your expenditure, everything. If you're not, then that means, obviously, you are eligible to even receive zakah. So that's nisab. We talked about how nisab. I think that's it, right? We talked about the wisdoms of zakah. Who must pay zakah, right? What are the conditions of zakah? Number one, it has to be a Muslim. So non-Muslims do not have to pay zakah, and you cannot give zakah to non-Muslims because they don't have to pray. They're not liable to pray. They're not liable to pay zakah. So only Muslim pay zakah and Muslim receive zakah. A person has to be sane, of sound mind, an adult. Children, there are different opinion. And some scholars mention that children don't have to pay the zakah. Orphan, there are different opinion among the scholars, right? We talked about nisab. Okay, passing of hawl. Who can receive zakah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how many categories of zakah recipients in the Quran? 8, right? إنما الصدقات للفقراء, the poor, والمساكين, والعاملين عليها, والمؤلفة قلوبهم, وفي الرقاب, والغارمين, وفي سبيل الله, وبن السبيل. There are the 8 categories. Now, in order to tackle each of the categories, I need 1 or 2 hours each, right? Very different. So I'm going to only focus on the poor and the needy, right? You only should pay the poor and the needy. There are people who say, fi sabilillah is anything, the da'wah, building mosques, building hospital. In my opinion, don't listen to that. You only give zakah to the poor and the needy, those who really need it. In this country, or Bangladesh, or India, Pakistan, or any other place, right? So, poor and the needy. What's the difference between poor and the needy? A poor is a person who has nothing, right? Poor is a person who has nothing. The only thing that person has may be the clothes, nothing else. That's poor. Needy is a person, he may even live in a house, may even work, but at the end of every month, that person, after calculation, that has to go to the food bank, can't afford to pay for the rent. That's a needy person, right? I mean, the others, mu'allafatu qulubuha wa amilina alayha. That's, some people say, the amilina alayha, the agents of zakah, the administrator of zakah. Can the charities in this country be called amilina alayha? No, right? No, because this was in a Islamic government. We're not living in an Islamic government. Yeah, Rishi Sunak is not an Islamic government, Khalifa, right? Okay, so zakah cannot be given to the rich, obviously, right? Zakah cannot be given to non-Muslims. Those who are poor but able to work and have work and should not receive zakat. Really important, right? Those people who are able to work and there is work but they just become lazy, then you can't give zakat to them. It's haram to give zakat to them, right? The family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam cannot receive zakat, right? Unless they're in so much need and there's no other support. Some scholars say it's okay. I cannot give zakat to my father, grandfather, great grandfather, anyone up. I cannot give zakat to my children, my grandchildren, or anyone down. Yeah, right. Anyone else in my family, and I can't give zakat to my wife, and my wife can't give zakat to me. There are different opinions. Some scholars say that if a rich wife can give zakat to a poor husband, so find rich wives. Right? The young brothers are getting happy, inshallah. Right? But generally, as husband and wife should not give zakah to each other, right? And anyone else, if they're poor in my family, you should give zakah to them. Actually, they have more of a right over anyone else, over you than anyone else. Is that clear? The Prophet said, your family has a right, haq, over your zakah than anyone else. Any building, for da'wah, building mosque, and there's some organizations and some people, even scholars, unfortunately, say, "I'll give zakah to anything and everything because it's fi sabilillah." No, right? If zakah could be used for anything, everything, then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention specific categories of zakah in the Quran? We left it wide open. Everything is fi sabilillah, right? So, respectfully, don't listen to those people, right? They're very, in my opinion, very, 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 very wrong. So those are the categories of people you can't give zakat. Okay, let's go to calculation. We don't have much time. Now, who's a mathematician here? A math teacher or good at maths? I'm not good at maths. You're good at maths? Are you a math teacher? Are you an accountant? Okay. Can you help me in something? Inshallah. You're better than me. Inshallah. The other brothers here can help you, inshallah. Okay. Whoever, you brothers help me, inshallah, yeah? So we're going to calculate a zakah, yeah? We calculate a zakah, right? So we know when a zakah date is, right? Really, really important that you pay your zakah on your zakah date. Really important, right? We know what hawl is, we know what nisab, we know who must give zakah. We know who can receive zakah, right? And also missed zakah. If you missed zakah for many years, you have to calculate and pay it. Some scholars said, if you miss salah, you don't have to do qada, this is tawbah. But they said, all of the scholars said, no, if you miss zakah, you have to pay. You have to tawbah, but you have to pay. Because why? It's a debt, it's a haq, it's a debt. Remember I mentioned, it's a debt you have to pay. Now, there are 3 steps that you should take when calculating your zakah. Yeah, very easy. Number 1, identify what you own in terms of your zakah assets. Now, there are certain things I own, I have to pay zakah on. The zakah is not just on our savings or money. Zakah can be on our wealth, right? Generally, right? And there are certain things I own, I don't have to pay zakah on. So when I say zakah assets, meaning those that wealth I have to pay zakah on. Is that clear? Okay. So I have to calculate and total the value of everything. Total the value of everything. Yeah. Then I have to deduct any liabilities. So there are, bills, phone bills, rent, whatever, right? Certain things that I can deduct from my total amount, right? When I come to my zakah calculation. And step 3, after deducting whatever's remaining, if that is equal to above the nisab, then I have to pay 2.5% of that. If it's below, I don't have to pay. It might seem confusing, but it's really simple. Those are the 3 steps that you take. Right, let's go to the first step. What did I say in terms of the first step? You identify and you calculate your zakah assets and you total it. So what are the things that we own that we have to pay zakah on? Number 1, cash. All cash, money. In your hand, in your pocket, buried in your garden, under your mattress, right? In your savings account, in your current account, money that you lent to others, right? That you know you will receive back. All that you have to calculate and value it. Even cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, there's so many other things. You have to value it in pounds and you have to calculate it. Yeah, that's number one. Interest, obviously, we shouldn't take as Muslims. I don't know. There are some people still take interest because there are many bank accounts now, banks. You can go to them and say, "No, I don't want any interest." I've done it. I don't get interest, right? So if you do get interest for some reason, then you don't calculate interest. You have to give away interest without intending any reward, any barakah, right? So cash, liquid cash, right? If you have any cryptocurrency, right, in your savings account, money that you lent to others, if say for example I lent money to someone, I know that person will I will get it back. I have to pay zakat on it. If I tried and that brother is not giving my money back, right, then I don't have to pay zakat on it. But if later on he pays me, then I have to backdate every year that I missed when it comes to the zakat. Yeah? Okay, that's number one. Number two, business good. What is the definition of a business good? Anything I buy in order to sell, it's a business good, right? I have to pay zakat. So if you have an online shop, eBay or Amazon or whatever, you have a clothes shop, right? Whatever, right? You have to pay zakat on their commodities, on the inventory, right? So if I have a shop that sells thobes, for example, I have to pay zakat on all of their thobes and saris, whatever. On what? Is it on wholesale or retail price? Generally, you pay on the retail price, at your zakat, not on the wholesale, right? So anything that I buy in order to sell, that's number two. Number three, gold and silver in all forms. There are different opinions, but generally, gold and silver in all forms, you pay zakat. You weigh it, you go to the jeweler, you find out the equivalent in pounds, and you add it up, right? Now, I forgot to calculate. Okay, was that you, brother, or that brother? Okay. Number one, cash. I have hypothetically, I have £2,000. Yeah. Number one, cash. Cash. In my bank account, savings account, everything. Business. I have a shop, and in my inventory, I have £5,000. Yeah. Gold and silver, £5,000. Yeah. Now, livestock, cattle. Most people here from Bangladesh. Yeah. But itu Zomina Senani, Guru Asenani. If you own that, if it's under your possession, you have to pay zakat on them. A lot of people don't know that because we don't day to day we don't interact with that. But if I am the Malik, the owner of that land and owner of those goats and sheep, and there's benefit, then I have to calculate zakat. And it can be complicated, but we're not going to go into it, inshallah. But just be warned that if you have ownership, you have to pay zakat on it, right? So we'll not have any. We'll add £1,000, brother, yeah, on livestock, £1,000. Now, stocks and shares. If you invest in stocks and shares, whatever, right? There are three intentions. If you bought some stock and shares with the intention to buy and sell, say I bought it for £5,000. Today, my zakat day is £10,000. I have to pay zakat on the £10,000. Yeah. If I bought with the intention, it's all about the intention. If I bought with the intention, the long-term investment, right? I only pay zakat on any dividends I have accumulated on my zakat date, and obviously the principal amount, the investment initially I invested in, right? So this is really important. The intention is really key. So if I bought a house, for example, real estate, right? Say for stocks is another £5,000, £5,000, yeah? Real estate, property, intention. The properties that I own and I live in, yeah, there's no zakat on it. Even if it's £1 million, if I live in it, there's no zakat on it. But if I bought a property with the intention to sell, flip. So last month I bought a property into a hamlet for 100k, right? I should be so lucky. Yeah. Example, 100k, yeah, 3-bedroom flat, right? Today, but I bought it with the intention to sell, flip after 2-3 months, I get it, make a profit, right? But today, that market price of that property, of that flat is 200k. I have to pay zakat on there, 200k. Yeah, but if I bought with a long-term rental income, right? I don't pay zakat on the entire property. I pay zakat on any rent that has left over at my zakat. So say for example, 10k, yeah. Pensions, now it can get complicated, right? But generally, like the government they take in national insurance and whatnot, the NHS, we don't even see it. They take from our kind of salary at the end of the month. There are certain pensions, for example, like you put in every month and your employer puts in every month, right? You have the pension is like a business. You invest, so you have to have, find out the percentage, the owner, how much you own, and in financial terms, and add it in your zakat calculation. Let's say another 10k, yeah. Cryptocurrency. A lot of people have now. A lot of people buy and sell and do everything with cryptocurrency now, right? Again, Bitcoin or Ethereum, or there's so many other things, right? Add another 5k, right? Those are the zakat assets, right? My clothes, my car that I drive, anything that I own for my personal use, except for cash, gold, and silver, I don't have to pay zakat, right? However, there is an opinion. I'll just mention it, right? Like, if you have clothes or if you have things or even furniture more than what you need, some people have 1,000 pair of shoes, 1,000 t-shirts and shirts. Some scholars say, well, you have to pay zakat on that because you only how many you need. Okay, max if you wear a pair of shoes one every day, you have seven, right? So beyond that, you have to pay zakat. I mean, that's an opinion, right? But generally, right, whatever you own for your own personal benefit, you don't pay zakat. So how much does it come up? 43,000. So all the zakat assets, we total it, comes to 43,000. Do I pay zakat on the 43,000? No. The next step on page 20, is minus all your liabilities. What are the things I can minus? So I take, right, there are zakat calculators now online, right? But if you do on your computer, 3 columns. First column, you have all your zakat assets, total it. Second column, liabilities. So what are the liabilities I can deduct? Any outstanding bills at my zakat day. Not the bills I already paid, not the bills I'm going to pay. Any bills that are outstanding, phone bill, electricity bill, car bill, whatever, that are outstanding at my zakat day. All arrears and overdue payments. Again, outstanding, letter has come, you have to pay, you're overdue. You can deduct that. Long-term debts, as an example, like a mortgage. Now, I'm not going to go into the mortgage, halal or haram, that's a different discussion, right? But long-term payments, like you're paying for a car, 5 year, 10 year. I'm going to come to that, inshallah, right? Mortgage, right? Now, mortgage you pay over 25, 30 years. If you deduct all of it, no one pays zakat. So for long-term, for mortgage, what I recommend, as scholars recommend, is that if you don't need to deduct any, like some scholars say you can deduct 1 year's payment, and some scholars say you can deduct 1 month payment. What I say is that, look, if you don't, even 1 month, if you don't need to deduct, if it's not going to make your life difficult, right, don't deduct long-term payment, right? But if you want to, max you can deduct is 1 year payment, 12-month payment. But recommendation is only one month, yeah? Student loan, okay. What happens with student? Now, there are different types of student, loans that we can get, right? Bursaries and help. So any money that I have, right, is I own. Whether it's from from the government or not, I own, right? And the money that I get is for what? For my own expenditure, right? So if I own that money, I have to pay zakat. So I have to pay zakat. I have to pay any money that I have left over, right? Any expenditure that government give, whoever gives, right? I have to pay zakat. So when it comes to student loan, yeah. Now, that student loan you can't deduct, yeah, because it's essentially is the way it works. It's not necessarily a loan in that sense, right? It's basically it's like a poll tax. So when you earn a certain amount of wealth, right? Is that 22 or 23k, right? Before it's 25 or 26, I think, yeah. When you earn a certain amount, then the government takes from your salary every month, like a tax, like national insurance and whatnot, right? So you don't necessarily see that. You don't deduct that, inshallah. So say for example, my bills come to £1,000, right? My rent comes to another £1,000. If I have a shop, if I employees, I can deduct the mention here. I can deduct this staff salary for 1 month. Yeah, right. So again, say another £5,000. £5,000. Yeah. Obviously, riba you can't do that because you have to give it away. So, how much in total is my liabilities I've deducted? So my zakat asset is worth £43,000. My liability is 7k, £7,000. So my zakat assets in total is £43,000. I don't pay zakat on the 43k. The next step I do is what? I work out my liabilities. It comes to 7k. I take away 7 from 43. How much? 36. The third step, work out your zakat amount. So is £36,000 equal to or above the nisab today? Above, definitely. Today the nisab is about 270, 300, right? So am I liable to pay zakat or not? Of course. Do I pay zakat on the £300 nisab or £36,000? 36. But I pay 2.5% of 36. How much is that? 2.5% of 36k. So the easy way to work out, for every 1,000 you pay £25. How much is that? For every 1,000 you pay £25. So I pay 2.5% of £36,000, which comes to. Okay. We need a calculator, right? So my zakat asset is 43k. My liabilities is 7k. Remaining is 36k. I pay 2.5% of 36k, which is about 800, right? Something. 875. Yeah, 875. Yeah. No. Calculation is wrong there. Come on. That's why I said at the beginning I need your help. I'm not good at maths. 970. Okay, 900. So you pay £900. Your zakat is £900. Now you've got 30k. £900 is not much, is it, brothers? You probably spend on that year on Netflix subscription, or Amazon, whatever. But these are the 3 easy steps that you take when you calculate your zakat. I hope that's clear, inshallah. So we talked about zakat date, zakat anniversary, what you have to give zakat on, what you can take away, what liabilities, and the final thing I would say: should you pay zakat in the UK or abroad? Wherever there are poor people, you pay. There are certain people that have right over your family and your neighbor. Yes, wherever there's poor, you pay, inshallah. Okay, we've got literally a few minutes to take questions, inshallah. Yes. So. Yes, I forgot about that. Tamlik, ownership. You have to have ownership of the money, nisab, right? So when I give zakah, I have to transfer ownership to that person. That's why I can't give zakah to a mosque, to build a mosque, because I cannot transfer zakah, transfer my ownership to the mosque, because it's an inanimate object, right? So tamlik is transferring ownership to the poor and the needy. Yeah. Anything else? I think yes. Yeah. So when it comes to your family, as I said, anyone above your father, your grandfather, you can't give zakah, because you are responsible for them. Anyone below your children, grandchildren, you can't give zakah, and your wife, obviously. Anyone else in your family, brother, relative, if they're poor, you can give zakat to them. Actually, the Prophet said you should give zakat to them, right? And the second was so you pay. You can depend on the intention. If you bought the intention to sell, you pay on your zakat. That's why it's important to know when your zakat day is. So if you bought the shares for £5,000 today, it goes up and down. But today is £10,000. You pay zakat on their 10k. Yes. Thank you. Okay. The zakat in Ramadan that I pay in Eid al-Adha. Okay. Okay. I mean, what? As I mentioned, if their zakat date falls in Eid al-Adha, yes. If the zakat date does not fall in Eid al-Adha, no. You can pay in advance. Yes, you can pay 1 year up to 2 years advance. But when you come to zakat day every year, you have to calculate and pay. Yeah. You have to give that immediately. Give it to the poor immediately, as soon as possible. Don't wait. As soon as possible. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. So very good question. But it takes a long time to answer. But what I would say simply is that look at kind of look, firstly, don't even trust scholars. I'm saying we should trust scholars. What I'm saying is that Allah giving us aql. Allah gives critical thinking. Absolutely, right? We are able to read, right? Read, study yourself. I do this every Ramadan, Zakah workshop, free and on my own time. Nothing, right? Because my mission is to teach people authentic way of giving zakah. But there are even scholars, unfortunately, they're abusing this. They've been charged with abusing this, unfortunately. I have no issues in saying that, right? So what I would say is that you, first of all, you learn. Then you don't have to blindly follow scholars. You can respect scholars, and you should respect scholars, and you take the guidance, but you can be critical, right? Number two, charities that don't have zakah policy, watertight zakah policy, and authentic scholars, right? Don't give to them. Give to them. There's a lot of abuse. Okay, a lot of abuse. This brother and then yeah. Yeah. So, you see, you check, like legally, like you still own it. You still own it. So what you can do, so if you say, like, that brother is only 5 years later, you don't have to pay zakat every year. When he gives it, pay zakat, but backdate it every year. You miss. Yeah, you still have to give it. Yeah. And the person who's in debt, obviously, they can deduct it from the zakat calculation. Final question. I have to go. Any more question? Yes, final question. Yes. Yeah. 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 Oh, good. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. A really good question. In terms of, it's very difficult to police, especially here. You see, Zakah as an institution in the time of the Prophet it was part of the Muslim government. The government, Muslim government, the Khalifa would employ people to go and not police, but collect and distribute people's zakah. It's like, the HMRC. Treasury, essentially, if we had an authentic Islamic government, we would have HMRC that collects zakah. Because generally there's no tax. That we have tax in this country. Generally there's no tax. what the tax we have is the zakat, right? So in that sense, before, yes, you could. Now, I mean, look, we just have to. My responsibility, our responsibility as scholars or imams or teachers, is to educate people, right? Is to warn people, is to remind people, to tadhkira, right? And you have to police yourself, because we can fool other people, but we can't fool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can deceive other people, even our family members, our wives, our husbands, right, and brothers and sisters, but we cannot get away fooling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there has to be the element of taqwa there, right? So that's what I would say, is that that we have to police ourselves, because no one's going to come and answer those particular questions for us in our graves. It's we have to answer for ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah. So look, I agree with you, and unfortunately, this is a struggle of our nafs, that we have to, our avarice, our greed, the caprice that takes us this way and that way. We have to struggle. This is called mujahadatun nafs, that 24/7. But I would say that it doesn't mean people should not give. Hopefully, through this ibadah, some will, inshallah, understand. So, in one hand, yes, there are not everyone. There are, alhamdulillah, many Muslims who are authentic, sincere. Many, all of us here, inshallah, we are trying to uphold our faith, inshallah, right? I'm not gonna, say everyone is like that, but there are some who still need reminder, who still need, akhi, come on, let's do ibadah to Allah properly, right? And this is our struggle, right? But I see what you're saying. I hear what you're saying is a problem, but we have to struggle together, right? إن المؤمنون والمؤمنات بعضهم أولياء بعض. Indeed, the believing men and the believing women are allies with one another. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر, right? They enjoin each other in goodness, and they prevent each other from doing anything sinful against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the approach. Zakallah khair. We'll have to go. Zakallah to Shaheen, the Baytul Aman Mosque, and the Imam and the management for allowing me to come and do a zakat workshop here, inshallah. The last time I came was a porter cabin. So you have a very beautiful mosque here, mashallah. And hopefully, next Ramadan we could do the same, or any other topics, inshallah. Zakallah khair. Before that, inshallah. Zakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.